Hey y'all! Welcome to
Witty Witty Banter. I'm Monica.
And I'm Paola, and today we get to answer your burning questions.
Yep, that's right. But before we do that, we want to say happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, it is
We
St.
record
Patrick's
on Monday.
Day.
I know it's going to be way in the past, but we wore a little bit of our green. I know you can see mine, and I think you can see a little bit of her pants. So we're in the spirit of celebration, as well as spring break for some people.
Some people, yeah. There were some districts who celebrated spring break last week, but Christian is in Frisco ISD, and he's on spring break right now. We're recording Grand Prairie at the Epic, right across from Epic Waters, and the people are coming through.
Yes,
this
the parking
Monday
lot
morning
is packed.
People in their swimsuits. It's kind of chilly. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little windy today.
Well, thankfully the water park is indoors.
It is indoors, but I saw people walking with their towels after they were done indoors, and I'm like, girl, couldn't be me. Nope, could not be
not
me.
in this weather.
Nope.
But it's supposed to get more. It's supposed to get warmer. It's supposed to get sunnier. I love the fact that we woke up on a Monday and it's nice and sunny.
It's been really nice these past few days, with the exception of like the wind and the dust that it's bringing. But
that was scary.
Yeah, it was kind of
that was scary.
Looking like Twister up in here. Like, what the hell?
No, but we definitely want to say happy spring break to the people that are on spring break right now, and then also to the people that celebrated already. Sorry guys, if y'all are back in school, I apologize, but
you got this.
It's gonna be okay. It's okay. We're almost to the summertime. It's all good.
Yes, only 3 more months? April, May, maybe 2.5 months, because some people leave around June. So you're there. You're almost there. You got this.
These months are they go by.
We keep saying that every single spicy takes. We're like, no, this month went by fast. No, this month went by slow.
Yeah.
But how was your weekend? You had a very, very busy weekend.
Girl, if you can hear it in my voice, it was a lot, and it's not done yet, which I'm thankful for.
Because we've been having a slow season.
Yes.
It's been kind of slow on the gig side, and you had 3 back-to-back.
Yeah.
You went to San Antonio. You were in Dallas. You were in Grand Prairie. This girl went on a little tour.
Just a little one. Just a little one. But booked and blessed and booked.
Amen.
You know? But ultimately, it was really good. I will say that with Fanfare, I was nervous. If you were there at Fanfare, it was packed. There was so many people. We went on kind of a little bit before Signal went on, and so Jesse Turner was out there.
Amazing.
I posted a video on my TikTok and pretty much everywhere else where I was finishing my performance. I always finish with "I Will Always Love You." And he came around and applauded me, and I look over because on stage there was a lot of smoke from the smoke machines, so you can't see everything. But my brother, my brother happened to catch it like in real time, and I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, dude, he was dancing to all of your music and stuff. He was doing his autographing session over here, and then he would peek his head over to the stage. I was like, like it's a big deal, and I really, really respect that group. When I first started off, whenever the band and I first started performing, we actually got to open up for them in New Braunfels.
Oh, nice.
And actually Alejandro, our friend, was doing saxophone that time.
Cool.
So, it's the little things, especially when, big artists are supporting people like me. I'm not so much up and coming anymore, but I am still working on my craft and really trying to put myself out there.
Right.
I also had Jay Sterling on the stage. So I do want to give him a big shout out. Who is an incredible artist, singer, songwriter, producer, everything. He's got singles out now.
I know we may have to have him on the podcast.
I've been telling him. I've been telling you. So ultimately, I have told him to come to the podcast, and he's all down. He's really excited for us. He's excited for me. I was thankful to have him, and hopefully there's a collaboration coming soon between me and him. So
nice.
We'll
sending all the good vibes.
Yeah, keep you posted on that. But yeah, Fanfare was great. We did a VIP market event to celebrate Selena, and that one was fun. That one was a lot of fun. The thing that people don't realize is that I had like a mixture of musicians within the last 3 days. Right. So my nervous system, my nerves, my anxiety were just like sky high because I have an expectation for myself. I know my band members have their expectations for themselves.
Right.
And then you got to put that together. So shout out to all of the people that helped us out this week. You know, I'm going to shout out Rachel, who was our bassist for Saturday.
Nice.
I want to shout out Jay Sterling once again for the keys. And then Sotero, who has been in our band for a little bit now. Whether he's a guest or whether he stays, I don't know. But I really hope that he does stick around because he's incredible.
What does he play?
He plays keys.
Oh, okay.
So
cool. Did he play on Sunday?
Yeah, not Sunday. Yes, Sunday.
Sunday. Yesterday, Grand Prairie at Traders Village.
Which shout out to AJ Solis. It was the Fajita Festival, and we were there, and we were performing, and it was a lot of fun. The people were really hyped, so that was good. And
I know it's always a good time at Traders Village.
Oh yeah,
people always come through, having a good time.
Especially my grandparents. So my grandpa, who had been in the hospital, was out there dancing with Vandella. So shout out to Vandella for bringing my grandpa out and dancing. And I got emotional yesterday after the gig. I literally just started crying because my grandpa was in the hospital maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
He couldn't even walk. You know, he had to get rehabilitated, you know, and then to see him dancing out there, to me performing,
living his best life.
Yeah. I was like, oh, don't cry. People are expecting you to do a performance. You have to perform. And then
girl, I know.
I got home and we were watching videos over, and I'll post a video of him dancing. I just cried my eyes out because it's it's so beautiful to see him walking and talking and being in a normal space. He used to work for Traders for I don't know how many years. I think Traders opened the first year, and then the next year he was there.
Dang.
And he just retired, maybe a year ago.
Incredible.
So that was me.
Yay.
What about you? You had a performance as well.
Yes, I did have a performance. Right now I'm just feeling super grateful because of all the connections that I've made in the past couple of weeks. I celebrated with my family. So I'll just get started with how my weekend started.
Yeah.
It started actually on Thursday night, because the lunar eclipse was happening and there was the blood moon.
Oh yeah, I heard all about it.
It was gorgeous. It was very beautiful. I took 2 naps and I woke up. Christian was making a fire in the backyard.
Nice.
We had s'mores while we were looking at the blood moon and just enjoying the beautiful blessings that God offers us in just everyday life. And so, yeah, the next day we basically just was chill the entire day because we had a gig that night from 11 to 2 a.m. And so it was one of those late. We hadn't done a late night gig in a while, I think since my birthday. So so I had to, prepare for that. And we actually partnered with Cali Rumba, which they are a dance class, which they do all over DFW. They do socials, and they just started a Friday night cumbia night in Plano. And it's our first time in Plano. So we're excited to be able to perform in a different city than what we're used to. And we met a lot of really cool people. Shout out to DJ Colombiano. He was I'm so excited to have you guys here. And he was such a good time. Shout out to Cali Rumba for having us there. And we performed at the Mexican Bar Company in Plano by the Willow Bend shops.
Oh, I like those shops.
Yes, and it was really nice. We're going to be there again April 11th and sometime in May. I can't remember the date in May, but mark your calendars, April 11th. It's a Friday night, so y'all can come out for cumbia night with Sabor Puro. So that was exciting. We have a few gigs lined up with them already, which is always nice to have the books filling up slowly but surely.
Right.
And so we're there now. And then Saturday was a very special day for us. And let there be light.
We're going to keep it in the video. We have to because that's hilarious. So y'all don't know what's going on. But ultimately, we have these light fixtures that are over here that make us, all nice and cute and pretty and everything.
The lighting be right.
And as Paola is talking, the light went out. And I'm like, okay. And so
and I was I had to stop. I'm like, should we keep going?
And then now it just turned back on.
Turned back on. So,
paranormal?
Right. Next time on our spicy takes.
Right. Oh, yes.
We won't spoil it,
Not
but
today,
we'll let you know next week.
If you know, you know, but you'll know next time.
You'll know next week. Okay, period. But it was so special because we celebrated my parents' 40th anniversary. Yay! And so that's why I've been feeling super grateful, because it's not like not a lot of people get to celebrate their parents' marriage for 40 years, and
it's
not a lot
big
of
deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal, and not every family is as united as my family is. And it was just like, shout out to my sister Miriam for the idea of putting together a surprise like wedding vow thing, you know. And one of the things my dad said was that he was just so happy that we didn't wait until 50 years, you know, like 10 more years from now to celebrate their 50th year anniversary, because at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen.
You don't.
Tomorrow is not promised, and we need to celebrate each other now in this moment and spend as much time creating memories with each other as we can. And like at the end of basically the whole ordeal, so it was so cute. We surprised them. So we told them that my nephew had a soccer game and they had to come support him. And so they came and we like threw rose petals at them. We're like, surprise. And they were surprised. My sister Jasmine, she actually bought them different clothes so that they could change into nicer clothes. Miriam made them a bouquet. My dad had a little like lapel right here with a rose. We walked them down the aisle like as if we were like the damas and like all the things. We said like some nice things. There was a mariachi. We had a nice dinner outside. And so we danced a little bit. And after the mariachi left, we like huddled up in a little circle, and everybody was just like telling each other like, you know, what we all mean. And literally I'm just crying the entire time. Like I'm like, y'all are, yep, that's it. I couldn't even make any words, because it was just like such a proud moment for me, being able to have my family united and have us all together, and being able to say how we feel for one another without, you know, like anything bad happening, you know, because sometimes perspectives and like life happens and you're like, oh shoot, I should have said this, or oh, we should have done this. And now I can proudly say that my family does take these opportunities to celebrate and be together and love on each other. And so, I just want to say a little message to my parents, because they just celebrated their 40th and I'm just so proud and so blessed to still have them in my life. Ma y Pa, los quiero mucho. Felicidades por cumplir 40 años de unión. Ustedes han sido un ejemplo para mí, mis hermanos, para seguir apoyando a nuestro matrimonio y enseñarnos cómo amarnos, cómo estar unidos. Y en realidad estamos bien bendecidos que ustedes son nuestros padres, porque ustedes nos han apoyado durante todos estos 40 años. En mis 30 años de vida, yo puedo decir que soy muy bendecida por tener los padres que yo tengo, porque ustedes son lo máximo. Los quiero mucho. Thank you so much. Mil gracias. I'm just telling my parents how much I love them, guys. And how, what an example they have been for me and my siblings, to be able to pour into my marriage the way that they have been pouring into their marriage for 40 freaking years, you know, and that is a feat. That is an accomplishment. And I know that they're gonna, you know, live longer than that in you know, wherever they go past this life. So
absolutely.
It's amazing. It's incredible. And I'm just like, so happy, so grateful. And and then Sunday we spent the whole day in Denton. Christian had a gig with a big band and just went out there, had a good time, spent some time in the sun, relaxed. And it was a great time. So feeling really grateful, feeling really blessed to be able to spend time with my loved ones and keep going.
It's almost like a recharge.
It is.
So,
it is.
You know, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. And, you know, congratulations on 40 years. 40 years is huge. It's huge. And especially, you know, between our families, it's always been super important to keep family together, you know, and I've been thankful that my parents have stayed together as long as they have, and my grandparents too. So it shows the model of what marriage should be.
Right.
And it's a commitment, and you want to commit to this person no matter what. And so it brings people like me who, I'm not married yet.
Yeah.
I'm not. Hey, this hand's getting a little cold, specifically this finger. No, but it brings people like me to the conclusion that it is possible. You can commit to somebody. You can love somebody, for the rest of your life, and really have that. It is a big blessing.
It is a huge blessing, and I'm blessed to have the family that I do and the example that I have in my parents. So yeah, it was really, really amazing. And so I'm still feeling the tingles, the like happy love tingles all over.
Yeah.
So their actual anniversary was yesterday, but we celebrated them on Saturday.
Nice.
So that we could all be together, and they wouldn't expect it.
Caught off guard.
Yes, they literally were so surprised. We might have to put a little sneak peek of their surprised faces.
Please do. Yes. All right. So do you want to start off with the first burning question?
Yes, this was a question that was asked by my friend Ayana. We celebrated our friend's baby's first birthday, baby legend. Yeah, this was last weekend. We celebrated his birthday at the aquarium, and we were just talking after the fact and, just chismeando, whatever. And she was like, if you didn't have to worry about money, what do you think you'd be doing?
Shoot.
So I was just like, damn, that's a really good question. And I'm like, right now, since I am not like working full time, I have been kind of trying to live that way, being like, okay, if I didn't really have to worry about money because, like, let's just say I'm just focusing on this craft, like, what should I do? What do I do? But if I sat down and really thought about it, like, what would I really be doing, And I was like, you know what? I would think I would still be doing the same thing. I would still be creating. I would still be singing. It might not look the same because I'd probably be a nomad. So I'd probably be one of those people in the forest with like streaming my songs, in the forest.
Aurora, calm down.
Being a little hippie, a little nomad, not worried about money and shit. But ultimately, it would be the same thing. I would still be doing music because that's at the end of the day what vibrates in my soul is music. I would definitely still be with Christian and trying to form a family and cultivating that space for us. And I think it would just be like in a different place, maybe not here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It kind of reminds me of like there was like a birthday party that we had for you, like in our high school years.
Okay.
And the song from I think Bruno Mars had just like made it. Like he had just, and it was the song, I Wanna Be a Billionaire.
Okay, yes, I do remember the song.
But yeah. So it kind of reminds me of that without that, right?
Uh-huh.
So just kind of having all these ideas of like, I'd do this and I would do that. But to put it into perspective of if I would be doing the same thing, absolutely. Would I be in the same market as I am currently, genre-wise? Probably not. And the only reason why is because I've always had a passion for music, even outside of the general like genre box, if you will. I've never liked being in one specific genre. I've liked performing in everything. And so when I first started singing, I was singing mostly like Adele and
those pop,
like
pop. But the big belting pop. Christina Aguilera.
So all of that. And then also like mariachi was also like one of my things that I wanted to check out, wanted to try, but we didn't have a mariachi group in Booker T until we left.
Right. Every time.
It's always like that where you're like, I wanted to do this, but it wasn't there. And then the year I leave, it's there. So I am the type of person that I like to do many different things. So many different genres, trying new things. I think if money wasn't the issue, I think that's where I would be. Ultimately, that wouldn't necessarily change because like you and, myself, I don't see my life without music. I can't see my life without music. I can't see my life without really being peaceful, doing something else. Because Lord knows I ain't gonna do nothing else. I think I would be traveling more. I think
definitely.
I would like to see more of the world. I would like to bring Marco with me to see more of the world. I think we've even talked about in the past. I was like, have you been to the beach? Like, how long has it been? And he said years. I'm like, the South Padre is right there. Right. So like, let's just go, 8 hours.
Yeah, it's a little road trip away.
Yeah. So like, if money wasn't the issue and my music was my main thing, my only thing, which it is, I would stop. I wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't stop teaching. I think I like teaching because of the fact that I'm giving something back to the younger students that I have, the ones that do have passion and the ones that, are looking up at us as kind of like the examples. I don't want to say role models because we do things in our life that we don't necessarily like. I wouldn't pass that down to nobody. Nobody needs to inherit that part of my life.
Right. Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. Well, nowadays it's a little different, but whenever we were growing up, I was like, yeah, nobody needs to be my role model, right? Or nobody needs me as their role model because I mess up too.
Yeah. But I think it's important to also think that like role models don't have to be perfect, like we accept our mistakes, we accept our flaws, and we're able to persevere beyond that, and I think that that's what makes a role model. A role model is somebody who can learn from their mistakes and be able to like give back. And I know for me, when I was doing lessons, like private lessons, or right now with my one student, I give her real life like experiences that I've done, and like things like we go back into her repertoire, and I'll just be like, all right, let me call this tune, because I know for me, if I don't practice the same songs,
you're not gonna remember.
I don't remember them, so just like giving those little nuggets of like, hey, I didn't practice these, and when they came up again on a gig, I was not prepared. So I need you to be prepared. So I'm gonna be calling random songs.
Girl,
so
you
can
sound like you sound like me with my band. I'm like, y'all need to be on top of your game because I'm gonna forget.
That's why I got Christian. He's my MD. He got me. He knows, oh, she forgot the lyrics here. Let me add a little something.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go back to the top, guys. She didn't go to the coda. So we got our people who can.
Thank Lord, thank God we have people that are in our corner. Because for the longest time, I didn't have like a music director. We still don't. Victor has always been the one and only. And, I had to take over that role too.
Yeah, no, and that's tough. We had a sub for our gig on Friday. His name is Kirby. Shout out to Kirby and Andrew Popham. They called, got called a little last minute, and they answered, and they were able to be there. So thank you guys so much. We pulled it together. But I was talking to Kirby because he's starting to do his own thing, and like he's been doing his own thing for a minute, but now he's like really doing the band leader thing of like gathering everybody together, conducting the band, and putting the set list together, and all of these things that go into being the band leader. And he was like, oh my gosh, how have y'all done it like this long? I was like, honestly, it's a team effort, like
by a thread.
By
a thread that's slowly but surely unraveling.
Yes. And I'm like, I could not imagine doing all of the things that encompasses being like the band leader and the musical director. And I was just like, no, I need a musical director to like take care of the music part of it. I'll be the band leader, and I'll take care of the administration side of things so that I can like call people if I need a sub, if I need to pay everybody, like, that's the type of thing that I can do. And then I'll do the performance. And then Christian does like the set list and arranging of the songs. And then he cues everything, and he's listening to me, see if I fumble the words or see if I fumble the form. And he's able to like pick it up, and everybody's able to like stay together. And it has to be a well-oiled machine in order for what we do to be at the level that it is. And I personally know that I could not do that all by myself. Like I could not.
I'll tell you right now.
I would be stuck in the same place, because if y'all have seen me perform, I'm like running around everywhere. Like there's no spot I won't be. Okay. And so it's like, damn, if I was the band leader, I wouldn't be able to just stay or go around. I would have to stay there so that everybody can see me. Okay, let's end here. Okay, let's go to the next song, whatever signs I would have to use. So I think that performance-wise, my approach would be completely different.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for being able to do it all.
It's not an easy task. Thankfully, my band members, like, if I call out something, they're on top of it. But the last weekend, it's hard because you have guest people that are not used to these behaviors. And so when you are bringing people in, you have to really realize, okay, they're not here on a regular basis. So you have to be extra.
And you have to accommodate to them.
Extra accommodating.
Yes.
I think it's kind of a little joke between me and Les, which is my guitar player. So shout out to Les and Carmen, because they're always got my back and, always there and trying really hard. But we had an inside joke on stage yesterday where Les is always on my left. And then you have drums behind me. You have Augie, which is bass. And then you have Sotero, which is keys. My drummer is Tito. So shout out to Tito. I didn't want to forget him. But I'm telling all of the other guys because Sotero is our guest keyboardist.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so we're going to do this song. And then they'll listen. But I'm not telling him. And so I'm like, I'm just expecting him to just look at the set list that's on his phone. And he's like, Monica, like, tell me what's going on. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think everything through. But it's a joke. It's an inside joke between me and him because we've had that happen before. We've had a guest musician and they're like, you didn't tell me what the next song was. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I do apologize. It's never to take away from like making sure you're prepared, because that's another thing. You have to make sure everybody is prepared. So that goes with rehearsals. That goes with just scheduling. So I'm the lead of my band and I'm the music director of my band, but sometimes things slip. So yeah, it's not a fun job. It's something that you have to do along with making sure the keys are correct, because at some point in time, whenever we first started getting our guest musicians, they would ask me, they were like, why is it in this key?
Oh, and for people who don't know, she's not talking about like the keyboard, the keys being correct. She's talking about the tone or the tune of the song that they're playing in. So if somebody has a different key to the song that they're playing, it's not going to sound good.
No. I mean, you can transposing it is ultimately changing it into a different tone. So like, let's say I wanted to do Neon Moon, right, by Brooks and Dunn, and it's in a specific key for them because they're men. I bring it up to my key, and so that requires different chord progressions. So ultimately, I have to prepare them for the key that I'm used to, and I'm terrible at transposing music. So it's been a lot. I've been grateful, thanks to God, for giving me the brain to kind of function through that. But kind of like the side effects of that is missing some lyrics and kind of forgetting how to say things or how to do things. So now it's, compromising my ability and my talent to actually perform. But it's never complained about, thankfully, by my other team, because it's a team.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, you're all in this together, and somebody will catch you. Together. Yes, a little High School Musical. You just gotta sing through it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, for the most part, going back to the question, if money was never the issue, would I still be doing what I'm doing? And I would be definitely doing that, but a little bit more than what's already going on.
Right, yeah. I think I would already have an album and videos and all sorts of things.
Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't have to worry about paying for,
Yeah, because all of that costs money.
All of that costs money. So yeah, I think it would just be in a different capacity, I think. But definitely would still be doing the same thing, still be singing, doing music. But speaking of guests, we had your tia Susie on the podcast last week. And it was such a precious interview with her, and like getting to see how humble she is, and just like showing so much respect for like all women.
Yeah. Well, it was very humbling for myself included, because of the fact that that episode was basically like a love letter to my aunt, and it's things that I never got to say. It's things that we never really got to talk about, or how she feels. And so thank you, Thea, so much for being on the podcast. I know that you were nervous, but she did great.
Amazing.
She was a natural.
Yes.
So, she definitely wanted me to tell you guys, thank you for having her as well. She had a great time, and she became one of our sponsors.
I know. Another thing I'm very grateful for is our sponsors. And so we're going to take a short break to tell you about Susie's business.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. It can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. That's where Susie Saldivar Real Estate comes in.
From first-time home buyers to seasoned investors, their experienced realtors are here to help. Needing financing options? Looking for down payment assistance? Searching for that perfect fix and flip opportunity? They've got you covered.
Their team knows the Dallas-Fort Worth market inside and out and is committed to making the process as smooth as possible. Whether you're in Grand Prairie, Arlington, North Richland Hills, DeSoto, Carrollton, or anywhere in North Texas, they have agents ready to assist.
Let Susie Saldivar Real Estate turn your real estate goals into reality. Call 817-846-3584 or email Susie at susiesaldivar.com or visit susiesaldivar.com to get started today.
Susie Saldivar Real Estate.
Real experts, real results.
All right. So super excited to get another sponsor.
I know.
So thank you guys. And if you're still interested in doing sponsorships with us, let us know at wittywittybanter@gmail.com. And
you can also DM us at Witty Witty Banter on Instagram or TikTok to get yourself an ad here on our podcast.
Yeah. But now we would like to go into a Theary update.
Yes, because Theary has been very busy with his senior year at UNT. And now we get to hear what all of these projects are about.
Yeah.
Because you've already finished one out of like the 3 or 4, right?
Hello. So
that's my favorite part.
Let me make sure this isn't gonna. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Testing. Okay, that should be good. Yeah. So we did just finish one project of like the 4 I have left.
You've got a lot going on within the last couple months.
I've got a lot going on. So we just wrapped my advanced film like capstone class project. Well, we should have anyways, hopefully. Assuming everything went according. We just finished. That has been, I won't lie, a nightmare. That when we first started working on it, I was supposed to be like just the lighting guy. That's all I was supposed to do.
Right.
And we were just supposed to shoot on the first week of January. As you can see, it is not January. And
we're 3 months in.
Yeah, I'm not just the lighting guy. I'm also the whole director of photography on it.
Wow.
I didn't sign up for that, but I certainly had to do it.
Yeah.
So that has been quite a challenge, trying to like navigate a giant mass of work and like redoing the whole old director of photography's job.
Could you explain what that entails? Because I don't know exactly what that means either.
So director of photography. So essentially, when you have a film production, the first person the studio finds is a producer.
Okay.
The second person they find is the producer finds a director, and then the director will find a production designer, which is like the whole art department.
Okay.
And then the next person is the director of photography. So they're like kind of the fourth person to be found, and they are in charge of everything visual.
Ooh.
So the director, while they'll work on like the actor, kind of work on like the vision. Hold on, this is getting a little loud. Sorry. They'll work on like the actors. They'll work on the overall vision and performance. The director of photography is the one who works with the production designer to find the colors of the costumes, to find what kind of lighting style we want, where we're going to. It's like on set you find out, okay, where the light's going to go, what do we need, like who needs to do what, that kind of thing. So it becomes just like they're in charge of basically 90% of the project. Yeah.
Dang. So you're basically the person who puts out the visuals that people will really remember.
Yeah.
Like that's your job. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's like, and especially on a student level production where obviously you're working with, actors with way less experience. Ultimately, a lot of it ends up being that the thing that sticks in people's mind is how it looked. And so like it has been a very stressful, like random thing that I've just had to like take the mantle on.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to have to do that, but I'm happy with the final result.
Oh, good.
It did go really well. One of the issues we ran into was we didn't have like crew for what we call the G&E team, which is grip and electric. So electric is lights, and then the grip is like, say, the stands that the lights are on, a dolly for the camera.
Okay.
Anything that's not electrical but needs to be set up. We didn't have like anyone for that job.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
for our first 3 shoots over the course of 3 weeks, whatever, it was like me, our production designer, who should not be touching equipment. Like, that is not her job. She needs to be doing like set design and like she needs to
Tell
be
her,
doing
Theary.
other stuff. Which no, I mean,
She was helping.
yeah, she stepped up because we didn't have anyone.
Yeah.
I'm eternally grateful that she helped
It's
me.
like she didn't even have to do that, but she was doing it because the need.
Yeah, she absolutely saved the production. We had one person doing lighting who was our producer, which really should not be touching equipment. He needs to be like playing God over our project and watching everything going on, and he was doing lights the whole time.
Wow.
And then we had one other person. We had one single member from the class we were supposed to get our crew from. We had one person, and she was doing grip.
Wow.
And so these shoots have been inefficient. They've taken forever. There's been butting heads because ultimately our group, we're not friends.
Yeah.
So
Like,
you're literally like meeting each other and like learning how to work with each other because y'all don't even know.
Yeah, I had
one
never
another.
met a single person. I mean, there's like a few that I knew in passing, but besides my production designer, I have not met a single person in that group until this year. Yeah, and
That's
so
tough.
That's a challenge too. Like
Yeah.
it takes away like some of the social battery that you already
Right.
don't have.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I've been
Because of
telling
exhaustion.
people, the lowest mental point you'll ever be is after a film set.
Yeah.
Because it is exhausting, especially for someone like me who ends up having to DP everything. Where it's like, you are one of the only people who doesn't get a break. Because a running joke in the industry is like, if you go on a film set, 80% of the crew will be doing absolutely nothing because you're moving in sections at a time. So it's
right.
like, okay, yeah, you're the makeup person. You know.
So you'll do the makeup whenever you need to do the makeup, and then you're off.
Yeah, you do the
whenever.
makeup. You taxi over the actor when they're done with the makeup, and you're doing nothing.
Right.
You're just sitting there.
You're just chilling
getting
until the
paid.
next
Yeah,
person.
until the next person. The director of photography needs to care about what makeup looks like. They need to care about what the costuming looks like. They need to care about the lights and which grip equipment we need for the shot. And then they need to be sitting there watching the shot. A lot of director of photography is like they work their own camera, including me on this production. So it's like you don't get a break.
No.
And it's constant. And so these shoots are going to like 3 a.m. One of them started at 5 a.m., which I know.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you guys about that one.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and so it's like it is exhausting. And it's not that like, we're not friends or like we're butting, like it's not that we're like angry at each other. It's just we aren't like close. We don't know each other like that.
Yeah.
And I remember like I heard them talking, like I was like kind of snooping. I heard them talking about like how to move forward and like what we should do next. It's like, okay, we've worked with Theary now. We know how we all work together. Like they're like coming up with the plan because they didn't know what set was going to look like.
Right.
Neither did I, because I was nervous on our day one. I was like, I don't know what is about to happen.
Yeah.
And our last day, so this was a whole mess because at this point it's March. I have work every day. I'm like, I don't know when to shoot this. And I have a lot to say about this film. Sorry, I'm gonna go for a while.
Keep going. It's an update for a reason. We haven't had one in a month.
Yeah, so we needed a basement location. And obviously, if you look around, we're in Texas.
Yeah,
we don't
So
have
we're
basements.
not
Those don't
finding any
exist.
basements. Yeah, and so that's the reason that it took us so long to even shoot this. Is because we got the first stuff done before any other group even touched the camera. We got through everything besides the basement, like dream sequence, which is the whole purpose of our film. So we didn't have a story yet, and we'd sat there for I would say like 7 weeks without doing anything because we could not find a basement. And the whole time I was like, use a theater black box.
Exactly.
I was
It's like you just got to problem solve
Yeah.
and like pivot, see what is gonna work. What can we turn into something else? And did y'all find a black box, or did y'all find a basement?
we used a black box. But the problem is, it took. So I floated this idea in fall semester when I was just the gaffer, and then and then over winter break, I also floated the idea. I was like, hey guys, you know, here's one of my friends. He did a short film in a black box. It looks super cool. You know, we would need like one light, and it would be super super cool. And they were like, it just doesn't fit the vision
of a basement.
Yeah,
it doesn't fit the vision of a basement,
which is usually just pitch black. Anyway,
yeah. If you've ever worked in a film, you'll also know that there's no such thing as a film that fits the vision. That never happens. There's no film that's ever been made that fit the vision. It doesn't. It's not real. Like you have to make compromises if you want a film to happen. So there's a lot of like back and forth. I was like, use a black box, no. Use a black box, no. And to the point where it took me and our production designer ratting out our group to our professor. Like we had to go to him multiple times, in fact, and it got to the point where he pulled our project. Like we weren't allowed to shoot it until they agreed to use a black box. That is how long it took them.
Damn, Theory spilling some tea.
Oh, yeah.
The joys of your senior year. Holy moly.
We finally got them to agree. We finally got a shooting day set up, which by the way, our schedule was garbage because we waited so long to try to reserve it that we had like garbage days left.
Yeah. Damn.
And so we were trying to shoot on Thursday, which is the same day I had the 1:00 jazz concert. And I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, I fear I am the only person at this campus trained to shoot that concert.
Yeah. So okay. So if you don't know, UNT is known for their music, especially their jazz program, and the 1:00 jazz laugh band at UNT is worldwide renowned. Grammy award winning.
Yeah.
So this is a huge deal to be able to have somebody experienced enough to be able to get all of the shots that they need in order to be able to submit to other platforms and do whatever they got to do because they are high level.
I've been in charge of that concert for 3 years.
So you know.
Yeah, I've been in charge of that concert for 3 years, and I told them, I was like, you're gonna reach a point where you're gonna try to ask me to shoot on a Thursday. I told them this week 1. So you're gonna try to ask me to shoot on a Thursday, and I'm not gonna be available.
What are they gonna do when you graduate? You know, like. Just...
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's not my problem. Once I'm gone.
He's like, once I'm gone,
they can offer me. They can offer me a little bit more money,
right?
And maybe I can keep shooting.
But yeah, so I couldn't make it to one of our shoots because it was supposed to be on Thursday, and I was like,
"You're like, no."
I was like, I can't make it to that, and so they were gonna try and shoot without me, which again, I'm the director of photography, so
you can't do that.
So what you can do is get a second unit director of photography who like goes in and gets like secondary footage, but the footage they wanted to shoot was scene 1. So the first thing you were going to see of our project was not my work, and I was like, I came to terms with it, and I like shot listed and made a storyboard and everything, and I was like, I'll whatever. And then like they impromptu decided that we weren't going to shoot on Thursday because I wasn't going to be there, and neither was like a few other department heads, and so I was like, okay, whatever. So we only had Sunday. And then it was that, or get it all on Sunday, or shoot over spring break. Were our only 2 options. And so we came on Sunday. We had, I believe, 10 hours in that black box. And I was like, I do not want to shoot on Monday. So for this one, we actually had a crew. Because the reason we didn't have a crew is because I was waiting on our producer and our director and stuff to like let them into our, to hire them basically. And I got to the point where I just told everyone that was like reaching out, I was like, email me and I will add you myself because I'm sick of having to like work without a crew. This is the worst.
Yeah.
And so we got a crew. Our actor was 2 hours late on that day.
Nice.
But despite the fact that our actor was 2 hours late, we wrapped an hour early because we moved so efficiently, and we are like having more than 2 people at a time. It was so nice getting to be like, hey, can someone set up like the dolly? And then I was shooting my shots, and then I come back and, Oh my God, the dolly set up, and I didn't have to spend 30 of my own minutes.
Period.
Shutting down the whole production.
Moving effectively.
So it definitely turned around.
It turned around, and the shots were so freaking cool. Like it took us forever to agree on the black box. They had to rewrite the script and add in new props. But when we got there, it looked so cool. So I was like, okay. Yeah. So that's that. We're done with that. That's No Space Between. I don't know when we premiere that. I believe that one's going to be a closed premiere only because the room we're doing it in is like really small, and the last time it was like people sitting on the floor like staring up at the screen.
Yeah, that's a hazard.
Yeah, it was in the fire marshal got like really
Speaking of,
he was
that sounds like a fire hazard to me.
Not happy about that. So I think that's going to be a closed one. But then there's one more premiere, and you're gonna
have to show us like at least a sneak peek.
No. Please. Stop. I'm sorry.
Our viewers can, see what you're working with.
I have a lot of the footage on my computer, I think, so I might be able to
add a little sneak peek.
Okay. Just a little something.
At least a screen
an
grab
exclusive for our Weedy Weedy Banter listeners. Okay, period.
And so then I'm working on one film, which is going to be shot in 2 weeks. That's the independent I'm directing.
Ooh.
Which has been quite a hassle.
Dude, so the first project you did, you were what? What was your role?
For the one that we just finished?
No, the first project. The Heart or the Office one?
Oh, yeah. I was a director of photography on that one too.
Okay, so you were a director of photography for
which was my first time doing that.
Okay, so you had a little experience.
Yeah.
And then you were the gaffer for the second one, but then
I was the gaffer, and then I became the DP.
And then for this one, you are the director.
I'm the director and DP because I don't trust anyone else with my job.
He said, "Email me."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I take pride in my DP work now, and I don't want other people.
As you should.
I don't want other people.
As you should.
Know your
messing
word.
with that. Yeah. So that one, we shoot in 2 weeks, and we don't have a location yet. As of this Monday.
I don't know. That seems like a pattern to me. Theory.
Hopefully that changes. So we were gonna shoot in my mom's school.
Okay.
That was my first, because like when I wrote the script, obviously I'm the type of person who needs to have a game plan for said script while I'm writing it, because a lot of people will just write it and then not have any logistics thought out. So the story takes place in someone's personal office.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, which I figured I was going to use my mom's, but then I asked her to send me a picture of it, and it has like this massive blue wall. Which is not great for a camera. And I was like, okay. And so I started looking around, and nothing's been working. So finally, when I accepted my fate, I was like, okay, I'm going to add in a line where the Karen lady calls the wall tacky. He tries to defend it, and then no one's going to think about the wall from there on.
Right.
We just...
You got to address it to...
we acknowledge it in a comedic way.
Yes.
We build character for both of them. It's like you build their relationship. It's going to be a fun little bit. Might even be the funniest line in the story. Who knows?
This damn blue wall.
Yeah. And so I was emailing. Unfortunately, my mom's like a huge rule follower. So I was emailing the district to get permission to shoot in her school. Because I was like, we would handle the logistics. She's already agreed. Y'all don't have to worry about anything except for just letting her know that we can do it.
Right.
And then they said no.
Why? What was the reason?
I don't even know.
They don't give a reason.
Yeah.
They never do. The independent school districts, they're like, no. But why? Because we said no. It's
Yeah.
just
That
that's
makes
just
no
how
sense.
It is.
It's like no child is going to be recorded.
No, I was like, it's on a weekend.
It's like
nobody's gonna
be there. The logo of your school is not going to be shown because it's
Nope.
inside of
It's
the
inside the
building.
office,
It's
yep.
just in the office. Yeah, that makes no sense.
And so because she asked me all that stuff. She's like, she gave me this whole list of questions. I had to write an essay answering all her questions.
Right.
And then
because
the
I
end,
can understand if you were like doing it during the school day and like you were going through the hallways and kids would be recorded. That's illegal.
Yes, very.
So I would get that, but like there's nobody there. So
yeah,
like,
it was on the weekend in one single room is all we were gonna shoot in. And so what she told me was, sorry, we won't be able to, like, we have to deny your request for future reference. And this is a quote. For future reference, you need $1 million of liability insurance. Yeah, of liability insurance.
$1 million.
Yeah. And
she felt real big with her cat and like, you need $1
Mr. Bigglesworth.
million of liability insurance.
So I was livid because she never even asked me if I had said insurance.
Yeah.
Now I don't, but the thing is, like, we looked into it. That is not that hard to do.
No,
like, it sounds like a scary number because it's $1 million,
right?
But that's like $40.
Yeah,
that's not that hard to do.
Right.
And so I was like, I asked, but she sent this at like 4 p.m. on Friday, and then they went to spring break.
These freaking emails, man. I'm telling you, we get the emails like 4 p.m. on a Friday just so that we can't respond back.
Yeah, no,
because like I responded as quick as I could after I talked to my dad about it. But she's on spring break now.
Yeah, so she's
I
not
was
going
like,
to
she's not going to respond. And the earliest she can respond, or she will respond, is the week we're shooting the project. So I was like, okay,
there's no point. Yeah, and we'll take the no and move on.
Yeah,
sometimes that's what you got to do. Unfortunately,
and so I'm working out a new location. I'm gonna go look at a real estate agent's office who said we're cool to just shoot in his office whenever. The issue is, I need such specific like metrics for a film, because it's like, if there's windows, that is a massive problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can see outside of them. There's the sun's moving around. It's gonna be over 2 days. Might be cloudy one day. It's a huge problem.
You can't go to like the counselors at UNT or something, like one of your.
It gets difficult because I need to get into someone's like private personal room, which typically means they at least have to be there, and it's hard because also the other thing is I've gathered a crew of like 26 people.
Oh damn. Yeah.
And so it's hard looking someone in the eyes and being like, I need your office with your belongings for a group of 26 like college students for roughly 24 hours over the course of 2 days. Those are impossible metrics to get people to agree to. I've been looking at like co-working spaces which don't really fit the story. No. And either way, it's like, you buy a membership for me and then like I have to lug in 26 people. How's that going to work?
Right.
And then, we don't have control over the sound in a co-working space. I've tried like looking at private office rentals, which first off, most of the websites are garbage because like you get to the point and either they're not even open on weekends if you do see their schedule, or you try to rent it out and they're like, put in your contact info and we'll get back to you.
And they never do.
Yeah,
they
never
do. Yeah.
And so I moved over to like Facebook Marketplace to like see if there's anyone leasing offices, and there are. But then again, I asked them, okay, but I only need it for 2 days.
Yeah.
And so it's like, a lot of them, when you're leasing something, you have like a 6-month minimum, and it's like a lot of people will just say no off of that alone.
Yeah, no.
And so I have like one person who seemed willing. She didn't respond, but I was like, listen, yours is $450 a month. I will pay you $200. That is $100 a day. You're making almost half you would make in a month for 2 days of just letting me in. And
that's a good deal, but people are going to be like, no, what if somebody comes in and wants to do the whole thing?
Yeah. People are very skeptical these days about the spaces that you use, because we've done that with music videos and having to having to rent out like a specific space or a specific part. Like if there's a house that we're wanting to use, the person has to be there, like how you're saying. And it takes a lot, but I hope that it all gets figured out. You know?
And so, I mean, if I don't find something today, I have to move our date back, which is going to cause a whole different wave of problems I'm going to have to deal with. It sucks. I thought I tried my best to prepare as early as I could for this. And, I guess I didn't account for the school district taking 3 weeks to give me a useful answer. So, it sucks, but we're getting
school
there.
District.
Now we're trying to raise more money. I think we raised like $1,200, which is a lot for like a random small student
Yeah,
film.
That's great.
That's amazing.
And my producer's like, maybe you want to bump that up to like double now, because it's looking like there's a chance we might have to like furnish an empty room, which is going to be a whole thing, trying to get a U-Haul and an office desk and all these props. There's going to be a whole other thing.
Yeah. Well, Facebook Marketplace would be a good
Facebook
place.
Marketplace.
Or if anybody listening to the podcast has any means to help, maybe you guys have an office space that you're willing to just lend Theary for 2 days,
Please. Yeah, it's I mean, I get it. It's hard because it's a crazy request, but I think what people got to understand is film students have to be the most responsible people, because we're sitting, like, I promise you, no one's roughhousing in your area and destroying stuff, because we're already lugging around tens of thousands of dollars of equipment
that you're borrowing.
That is not mine, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, I understand the skepticism. I understand, okay, a bunch of college kids invading my room, but I promise you, we are really trying to get there and get in and out as quick as possible. Like, we also don't want to be there for that long. It's just the hard reality of like, it takes forever. Filming is not a short process. It takes forever. Like, you set up the lights and you're looking at it. What if we adjusted the light by 2 centimeters and up to the intensity by 12? And it's like, no, I don't like that. It's too harsh on his face. Can we get another light to bounce? Like,
that's why when everybody's questioning their favorite shows coming back, that's what y'all got to think about. Is the logistics behind everything.
Oh, it's
every
so
little
hard.
thing. So before y'all start getting mad about certain shows not coming back whenever you need them to come back, think again.
Yeah, it is rough. And so, we're trying to raise more money. Oh, GoFundMe is still open.
Nice.
I'll put it
right here.
You're gonna have 3 different.
But yeah, I mean, I still think it's going to be fun. We did find our cast. As I said, we have like.
Did you find your Karen?
Yes.
You were talking to us about
Yes.
the main role was like a Karen role.
The most important role was a Karen role. And so I did show y'all one actress. We didn't end up going with her. Which I guess I can talk about the audition tapes a little bit. I really hope nobody.
If y'all could see his face.
Okay, so we got a lot of like, so obviously it's a 0 budget student film. Like, you're not getting paid. Like, you're here to get something for your reel
exposure.
And like I'm paying the artist an exposure. I'm sorry, guys, but I mean that's how the film industry works. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna find myself working at like, or going to a Chick-fil-A. Can I shoot you guys a free promo so I can say I worked for Chick-fil-A?
Right. Yes.
I mean, that's how you got to do it for this kind of industry. You need to like show proof of work before you get work, unfortunately. And so, but you'd be surprised. It's not like I'm extorting people. You'd be surprised like how many people will jump to a free project just to do it.
No, seriously. I mean, it's one of those things in the creative space where you have to collaborate with others in order to get that exposure, to get that experience. Like, even just in the music world, doing collaborations with like features and stuff like that. Even like you said, you don't even really charge that much for collaborations.
No.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, like when it's a collaboration, if somebody is wanting to pay, I just go off of what their set rate would have been. I don't typically ask for like payment unless it's like, okay, like I have to drive to you. If you're like in another city, if you're like more than 4 hours, like 5 hours away, then yeah, you know, that's going to contribute to gas, and it's going to contribute to food. But ultimately with collaborations, it's kind of the same thing with music. It's like, I'm not going to really charge because this is a collaboration that I want to work on.
Yeah.
I don't really agree. Nowadays, I don't really agree anymore to like just whoever, mainly because I've been done wrong in the past, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
You got to know your worth.
You know, yeah. And so we it was a little slow getting actors at first. You know, they're still applying now, which is funny because
you're like, it's already been
like,
closed. The
it's
ship has sailed.
You had your chance.
But so what I did was I like went in and I just started clicking invite on like every person who semi fit the role. And, you know, most of them didn't respond. That's okay. I invited like one guy who was in Black Panther because I was like, why not?
You know what?
It's kind of like our journal where we were like writing down interviews and we said Daddy Yankee.
You know, we're putting it out there.
Yeah, I was like, you know, maybe he's feeling, you know, generous.
Like he wants to give back to the community.
That was the guy who was on The Chosen.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, I mean, he didn't respond. He didn't even like say no. Like most of them, like he didn't even respond at all. So I was like, okay, well,
left you on red.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, that's fine. I didn't expect him to respond anyways. I just clicked because inviting people is so easy. It's like it's click, and that's it. It's 2 clicks, and then like they write the message for you.
Amazing.
And so most of our like lead, because the Karen's not the lead. Well, she's a lead, but she's not like the main character of the story.
But she's an important role.
She's the important role. She makes a story happen, basically. But the guys that we got for our lead, I'm sorry, they were not good. Like I got so many like super bold, like crazy auditions. So many where I was like, why would you send this to me? Like, I was like embarrassed, like for them.
Secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Secondhand embarrassment.
You feel bad because, like, you know,
the cringe.
When you're acting is one of the hardest things. That's why I'm not an actor. It's like the hardest thing ever. But like, you know, because you're putting yourself out there, but like, you know,
was it like the overacting, like the Disney overacting? Like,
yeah.
Mom.
Even worse. Because the whole
what
point,
are you doing here?
Because the whole point,
not the accent.
Yeah, that's a good accent.
It just kind of slipped out.
That's her acting voice.
I'm acting.
And scene.
But yeah, like the whole point was that the main character is like he's fatigued. He wants to go home. Like he does not have the energy for this right now, and those actors very much had the energy. I was like,
I'm so tired.
Yeah, and you know, it's like
I do not want to be here.
Basically, like that's not an exact. That's how those deliveries.
Oh my god, I want to take a nap. It's just like so giddy.
Yeah, and so like, you know, most of them were. I have like a folder that was just like hard to know, like.
Not the folder.
He said, okay, drag and
yeah. And what's crazy is like we only had like one good audition for the guy, which one's all you need.
Yeah.
So
it only takes one.
I got the one, and so this guy, you know, I've spoken with him. Obviously, I've learned more about him. You know, this is his first. That was his first audition tape ever.
Oh wow!
He doesn't have a professional headshot. He has no like film resume whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and I was
a great
like,
opportunity.
Yeah,
for
I
him.
was like, and you know, he was so enthusiastic and so optimistic.
Aww, that's great.
You know, he was wearing like a black tuxedo in his audition tape, which works perfectly because that's the direction we were going with costuming, anyways.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I was like, you know what? Because like, you know, I meant to do like a second wave audition. I just looked at it and like how fast he was responding within the 10 minutes to everything I sent him.
Good.
And I was just looking at it. I was like, yeah, we can just go with this. I was like, there's no.
I'm not going through with the other
We're not
ones.
about to waste no time.
Because, you know, there's other people I was waiting on and they were taking forever to send it anyways. We only had 1 month at the time that I cast him. I was like, whatever, we'll just go with this guy. You know, he's great. So we picked our lead that way. And then for the Karens, because that was a much more arduous process. So we got a lot of really good Karens. I mean, all you
it's not hard to play.
All you have to do is be a like angry.
Where's
white
your
lady.
manager? Let me speak to your manager.
Yeah.
Las Karens, okay?
So yeah, we got some really good Karens. And so it came down to two of them. One was the one I showed you guys, the other one. So the one I showed you, her performance was like,
Yeah.
but she obviously looks the part. And the other one was like, her performance is really good, but she didn't look the part.
But
And
you know, makeup and hair,
yeah, and so that's what I was like.
costume,
I was like,
we can make her look the
I'm
part.
gonna give you both a chance. I was like, I like this one's performance more, but I like this one's appearance more, which obviously I have to consider
part of
that
it.
for direct,
Yeah.
you know,
It's part of it.
acting. And so I sent them both like the information on like my critiques for a second wave, and I want to see like, okay, what will they change? Like, how coachable are they?
Yeah.
You know, I gave them more context into the character and like sent them screenshots from our script. I was like, okay, let's see what we get here.
Okay.
And then
He's got the process down.
Yeah, this other lady.
Oh, wait, third lady?
Third lady.
Ooh, okay.
Right when I sent the second wave stuff, she goes, "Hey, I just noticed, like, I just saw this audition request. Like, are you still open?" And already, I'm a fan when people try to work on other people's timelines.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah. I was like, we are. Why not? And so I clicked on her profile because, I mean, at this point, I have like 200. I don't know who this is. And I clicked on it, and I remember I was going to say no to her initially because she's from Austin. And she lives in Austin.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm not paying anyone, so that I don't want her to like have to figure out how to get
up here.
Yeah, from up here, figure out somewhere to stay or drive back and then come back for the next day. That's gonna be a lot. And I was like, I don't know. That's gonna be crazy. But I was like, so I sent her a message back and I was like, hey, we are still open, but
Let me
full
explain.
transparency.
Yeah, full transparency.
I was like, first off, this is like a low budget student production. We cannot pay you. I was like, we won't pay you. And we're in DFW and I see you're in Austin. So like, I don't know how you would plan on like staying here and working out that logistics, but we can't and won't pay you. Like, unfortunately, that's the truth.
As long as you're forthcoming with that information and you're transparent and, you know, you're all in the clear, you communicated.
Yeah.
It's in their court.
Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know, I was like, if you want to, we'd love to have you. Because I went back and watched her stuff, and I was like, oh, this is an actor. Like, I was like, oh, she had like a tape called Bitchy Mom.
Nice.
And it was so good.
You're like,
nice.
I was like,
check.
Yeah, I was
check.
like, oh, that's the one.
Check.
I was like, she even looks the part. I was like, this is the one. I was like, this is the one. But
Okay,
I was
so
like,
what happened?
I was like, but she's in Austin.
Right. Did she agree?
And so she was like, oh, yeah, I come to DFW to shoot a TV show all the time. I'm very used to like the possibility of staying in DFW. And I was like, and then she's like, I'm sending my tape in by the end of the business day. And it was so good. It was so freaking good.
What?
Oh my God. It was amazing. I was like, oh, well. And so I felt bad because I like told these other two ladies, oh, you know, you're the ones I'm looking at.
Well,
and then just like that,
that's how the cookie crumbles.
With one tape, she completely wowed me. I didn't even need to like give her anything, like any critiques. I was like, yeah, this is the one.
Yay!
So I went with her. And, you know, she's been great already. Very communicative. You know, helping the other, because again, our lead Aaron guy, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so she's been helping him.
Good.
She helped him like with his like sizing chart stuff for our costume designer. She's been she donated to our GoFundMe like yesterday.
Wow, she really about giving back.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
and so I don't know like what her story is yet. I haven't gotten to like talk to her that deep. I don't know what TV show she's on.
Okay, well, tell her we have a podcast.
Yeah, for real.
Tell her to come on over. We can have a little chit chat. We can promote the film.
Yeah, honestly,
do a little PR.
I might look into that because we'll be shooting on Sunday. I can ask her like,
do it
if you're still here. Do you want to like come to our podcast on Monday? Why not?
Yes,
just bring her in.
Yeah,
bring her in, or bring whoever you want from the shoot.
So that's been fun. And then the last like little servant guy was just my friend. I just typecast him.
You like
he didn't even audition. I was like, I just wanna.
You're gonna do this part.
Yeah,
and you're gonna do it well because you know what you're doing.
I was like, if you want to do it, the part's yours, man. Like, I haven't looked at anyone else. He's like, okay. So we got our cast, we have our crew, we have $1,200 and counting. We just need a location, which has been such a headache.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. I'm going to look at one today.
Okay.
Hopefully it works. There's
We're
another
crossing our
one
fingers
in
and our
Richardson
toes.
that I might be able to look at, depending on how because my dad's in contact with that one.
Okay.
But they seem to understand the circumstances.
Good.
I don't know how much that would cost is the thing, but hopefully
We're crossing our fingers, sending good vibes.
The free one that I would have free access to
Yes.
without paying and would be furnished is a good location.
Well, we're
Yes.
gonna be hoping and sending
praying,
good vibes
yes.
and praying and all the things.
And so that's kind of
Putting our crystals together.
That's what I'm working on now. I have like more projects, but I don't really have anything big left. Like nothing that needs money.
Okay.
So yeah, luckily, like we're almost
Dude.
we're almost done.
And are you graduating in May?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're literally in the
So by the time
stretch
he
of
hits
it.
June, he's gonna.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna knock at Chick-fil-A's door.
Because
Let
I
me
realized
get the promotion thing you want.
I realized I was like, so it was spring break. I came back. I was like, all right, it's gonna be a light week. And then I looked at my weekend in a glance. I was like, God damn it! I have work every day.
Welcome to adulthood,
I was
Theory.
like,
Welcome to adulting.
What was it? I found out yesterday that the career Kickstarter is on Friday, and I was like, oh, because I need to go to that. Obviously,
you definitely need to be networking.
I thought that was going to happen in April when I was done with this. So I don't have my business cards printed out yet. I don't have my portfolio made yet, and I was like, I don't know when I'm supposed to do that.
Today.
Well, he's gonna look at offices today.
I have to look at offices today, and then I have class
tomorrow.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah, it might be. I have to be tonight. I have class and then work from literally 9 to 5 and then 6 to 10. Yeah, so I was like, so Tuesday is just booked.
Packed.
Wednesday I have class and then work in the latter half. So I have a little time on Wednesday. But at that point, trying to prepare that kind of stuff with only 2 days before the kicks,
Yes.
So we will be praying for
yes,
you.
we will be sending you all the good vibes.
So I have to edit 2 reels and make a website and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know when I'm supposed to do this, but I need to do it.
Yes, you do.
Because above all, the career kickstart is the most important thing that I need to be doing right now.
Yeah, you need to be networking, getting to know people in the business. So we'll be praying for you, Theory.
Good luck.
Good luck. Sending you all the good vibes.
That was our Theory update. Man, he's got a lot going.
A lot going on. And it's been a while since we had a Theory update. So I'm glad you, let us know all the haps that's going on. But we do have one more question.
Yeah, we'll try to answer
It'll be a little short question. But another question I got asked this weekend was if I still get nervous before a performance. And honestly, it depends. It really depends on what the performance is. If it's a club gig that I've done before, we have our sound already in the levels that they need to. We've had sound check before. If everything's already put in place where it needs to be, then I am not nervous at all. But if it's at a new place that we haven't sound checked at, we don't know where we're going, logistics wise, we don't get to, and it's just we're gonna have to go there and plug in and try to make sure that everything sounds good. Those, yes, I do get really nervous. If the state fair one, whenever I was on the main stage, hell yeah, I was fucking nervous. What do you mean? Because it was just so many people, and you have your expectations, like you were saying, you want to do good, you want to impress people because you never know who is in the audience, who is listening. But once for me, once I get on stage and I'm okay, we sing the first song and I'm doing good, I'm in the flow of things, then all of that disappears and it's okay, we're good. I can do this. So how about you? Do you get still nervous?
All the time. It doesn't matter what gig it is. It doesn't matter how prepared we are. It doesn't matter if we do our own sound or if the sound is plug and play. I have, and I'm going to be real honest about it, I have stomach issues that go along with anxiety. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people would be like, no, that's IBS. It's not IBS.
No, I get the nervous shit sometimes too. You're like, oh, I'm just too much. I need to release something.
Yeah, no, I get triggered. And so I try to keep my anxiety at a minimum as much as I can. With the national anthem, that's kind of hard to do.
Because it's a cappella. Yeah. You have to know the damn song.
Yeah. So with the national anthems, more now than I used to be, I am always nervous about those because I want them to be good. When it comes to a performance with our band, I get nervous just because it's a lot more to worry about than just myself. And, ultimately this weekend, like how we were talking about, my stomach was in knots. And it's not so much like, oh, I have to use the bathroom. It's more just like the pain and the urgency is there, but it's only because of the anxiety, right? And I've been dealing with this since I started college, like 2012, so it's been a while. But yeah, your girl still gets nervous, and
she pulls through.
Yeah. Now, all I'm saying, promoters, is if you're gonna get artists, please put a bathroom behind the stage. whether it means that it goes one way or the other, please put a bathroom backstage for your artist, because ultimately, if I'm having to walk a mile, just to relieve myself, and I'm not trying to be like TMI or like be gross about it, but that's just part of it.
That's a human experience. Yep.
My anxiety is so in tune with my physical, anxiety, I guess you can say, that if I'm stressed out, my head is hurting, my back is hurting, my stomach, something is going in tune with that. And it's been a really hard thing to break, but thankfully when I do get up on stage, it's a different environment. I feel more comfortable. I feel more at ease when I get started. It's just the process of getting up there.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And sometimes it can be like, you have to really talk to yourself and like really take those deep breaths. Like I'd be taking naps before because I'm like, I don't want to think about it.
I take the whole day. I take the whole day to kind of just recenter. The time that I did the national anthem for Los Mavs, I took the whole day. I took the whole day to just kind of like, okay, you're not going to freak out. You're going to do this and you're going to do this, and that's all you're going to do. And then once going to the show, or once going to, because Los Mavs had like something on the plaza, and so we were watching the band. I was like, just listen to the music. Just stay focused on the music. You don't have to worry about anything right now. And then they start, we go inside and we sit down for a little bit, and that's what helps. Now, if I'm in a rush situation like I was for Fanfare this year, the people that know and saw me backstage and kind of like me just kind of getting overwhelmed, they know because they're with me all the time. So they know that I get nervous, and they know that I have like high expectations of my performances and stuff like that. So shout out to them, because ultimately they were there trying to give me water, trying to give me a Sprite to kind of calm down the nerves, talking me up, taking pictures. I do enjoy that. It does take away a little bit of the nervousness, but I was struggling.
Yeah.
So
yep. And speaking of acting, when we're on stage and we're putting on a show, like all of that needs to like, okay, we're on stage.
I mean, you can't think about anything other than what you're doing. You can't. You can't think about life issues. You can't think
what
about
if, or no, nothing. Yeah.
At all. So yeah, I get nervous still.
Yeah.
It's just part. The way I think about it is, if I wasn't nervous about it, I'm not as passionate.
Right. And I also think that nerves and excitement are the exact same chemical makeup.
Yeah.
So I changed the way I think about it. So instead of saying like, oh my God, I'm so nervous about this, it's like, no, I'm so excited because I'm feeling those chemicals run through my body.
Yeah.
It's the same damn thing. The adrenaline. It's like, okay, either I'm going to continue telling myself that I'm nervous, and make it a negative experience for myself, or I'm going to say, I'm excited, and make it a really positive experience for myself and everybody who's there, because también our energy on stage transmits to the people.
Oh yeah.
Like if I'm giving you nervous energy, then you're gonna feel it and you're gonna be like a little skeptical.
Is she okay?
Like, is she good? Is she like a professional, or what is it?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
And your crowd is gonna know.
And like a way that I tend to bring down the nervousness is if I am able to meet the people around, like let's say it's a club gig or at a bar or a restaurant, I'll go around and be like, hi, I'm Paola. I'm the singer of the band Sabor Puro. We're going to have a great time tonight. Hope you guys come out and dance with me. Like just really introduce and like do a little icebreaker before.
Yeah.
So that way it's not just like me going on stage and it's separation of like, oh, she's the singer, the artist, like, ooh, la la. And I'm
meanwhile,
just here.
Your girl is hiding behind stage.
And then, meanwhile, I want to shit myself and be like, fuck. But I have to put myself out there so that people can see like, oh, she's human. And like, if I can
Yeah.
put myself in that position of like, oh, I'm human, and if I make a mistake, bruh, I'm human, you're human, we're gonna make mistakes. It's live entertainment, so like, you know what you're coming for.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, so I always have to tell myself that it's like, no, we're doing something amazing because it's live. We don't have any tracks. You're not singing with backup vocals. You're literally doing this whole damn thing live without any like other type of support other than your band.
Absolutely.
So it's like, things are going to happen, and I own them when they do, and move on. So that's how I try to like minimize my nerves.
I feel that. That's a good way of doing it too. So
yeah. And then before we leave, I do want to shout out a few people because I've been getting a lot of comments saying that we've been doing a really good job. They listen every week. Shout out to Itzel and Jess. They tune in every Thursday, and they always tell me how great it is. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then I saw Hasiel on Friday at our gig, and one of the things that he mentioned was the podcast. Yay. And he was like, I know we don't say anything, but just know we're listening and we're rooting for y'all.
That's so good.
And we're here. And then the last two that I want to mention, I meant to mention Chelsea. I saw her maybe like at the end of 2024 at La Reunion in Bishop Arts, and she was like, girl, yes, we listen. Like, she has a little girls night on Thursdays. They do crafts and they get together, they do mocktails, cocktails, all the things. And they're like, yeah, that's one of the things that we've started doing is listening to your podcast on Thursdays. And so thank you so much for creating that community and listening to us. And then of course we have a fan that always comments on our YouTube videos. Luis, thank you so much. We appreciate your support and you tuning in every week. And thank you guys to everybody who is listening and is viewing our videos. Thank y'all so much, because without y'all, we really can't be here
at all.
So we really are grateful for